So hi, One Leave Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Ethan from Fake Stacys.
and we're asking some questions today about their new EP, Another Kid in America. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
To be honest, I haven't truly checked the response to any of this, but I have noticed the Spotify listeners going up. So that's got to be good, right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty good sign.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So is there any meaning behind the album name Another Kid in America or the album art?
You know what? James's buddy, the singer, did the album art. Gosh, I wish I could remember the guy's name. He's so talented. Yeah, it will come back to me at some point.
Mhm.
The name was that was James as well. It was just kind of this weird thing that he had brought it up to me numerous times before, but it was more of like it means he has a whole backstory for it. And when
Yeah.
he gets here, I will let you tell him what it is, or I will
Okay.
let him tell you what it is. But at the moment, I can't remember any of it. So let's move on.
Fair enough.
It's fine. It's
Um,
fine.
Yeah.
No worries.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this EP?
Sure. It was so James has been in like a ton of other bands, and I've been in bands growing up. But we over quarantine, when the whole world kind of shut down, I live out in the forest of Los Angeles. So it's like this really weird. It's like weird mountains, and I have chickens, and we kind of just got together and drank and kind of like worked on some music.
Mhm.
And it was pretty fun. It was pretty sweet. James he has no problem coming up with melodies. It's always very easy for him. So, he can write like 50 songs in a day. It's like kind of ridiculous.
Mhm.
Wow.
So it was basically just us like coming up with some ideas and throwing them together. I have a studio in Los Angeles, and we came to the studio and we just kind of worked on some music, and there was really nothing else to do. Like, I had a bunch of jobs get canceled. He couldn't do anything. He's in another band and he couldn't play any shows. They had all their stuff get canceled. So it was just like an opportunity to kind of fuck off and do nothing, really. And that's kind of how it all started.
Fair enough.
Wow. All right.
Kind of weird.
So-
kinda cool.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's kind of how all the best things start. This started out as a joke. So,
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very, very weird.
yeah.
That's cool though.
Thank you. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off this EP and the meaning behind it.
So, okay. So I think there's in Another Kid in America, in the song America, there's a lyric that is like that restaurant by the sea, that lyric, restaurant by the sea. There's a whole backstory to that song, and it's basically James getting really drunk and embarrassing the shit out of himself. And it happened to be at a restaurant by the sea, and I'm pretty sure he's with his parents, and it was just like a horrible a horrible time. And
Yeah.
he relayed that story to me one time, and we were laughing about it, and that's where that entire song came from a horrible experience at a dinner with his family.
Wow.
Okay.
So I think
All right.
that's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So where was your headspace at while you guys were writing this EP?
I think we were just kind of probably drinking too much, and that there was no point in it. I mean, honestly, still there's kind of no point in it. We think it's really cool, and we're like, oh, I hope people like it. But there was literally, I think maybe that's what made it fun. Is there's like no expectations at all from any of it. It's like me and him just kind of started working on some music, and we were like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And we played it for some of our friends, and they're like, oh, this is really good, And we're like, oh, maybe we'll make a band out of it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Hey, you're here. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this EP for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Should they blast it at a party? Should they work out to it? What do you personally recommend?
Huh. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe blast it at a party. I think America's a pretty good. It's kind of like nostalgic. It makes me feel like I'm young. So maybe it's like a party song. I don't know. It sounds like a house party song. I'm going with House Party.
All right.
House party. All right.
I like that.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
House Party rock.
All right. Very
Party
good.
rock. All right. So, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this EP to invoke in your listeners?
I mean, not necessarily. For me, it was just like it kind of like I grew up in, you know, like the MySpace days of music, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Not grew up. I was in my teens at that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was just kind of like an interesting era. And it's weird because, you know, like there are certain records like there's a handful of records that I can go back and listen to, and they really pinpoint like exactly how I felt when I was like 12, you know, 13. Like, I can't remember the name of it. There's a Death Cab record that like does this very specific thing to me. Every time I put it on, I'm like, oh my God. I remember feeling certain ways. I remember, you know, like your high school girlfriend or boyfriend. You remember like very specific things, and it makes you feel a very specific way. And I think just because, you know, we had nothing to do, I think we were kind of wanting to feel that same way. And we were like, oh, let's write songs that kind of like felt like they did when we were growing up, you know? And there's like kind of nothing to it. It's just guitars, bass, and drums. There's no like, there's, you know, there's no real production on it. It's just like you got in a room and you made some music and you said, hey, that sounds kind of cool. And that's it. And you just leave it at that. So that's kind of what I think we were going for. Nostalgia.
Okay. All right.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's so many artists I love now, and there's so many, you know, God, there's so many great new artists, but there's so fucking many. And so for me, it's like I just get inundated all the time, and I'm like, I have no idea. I love this song. I have no idea who this is. I love this artist. I know 2 of their songs. Like, there's just so much right now. And it's kind of like with the world, like everything is just so much right now. And like, I wanted to feel like I was 18 again. So there it is.
Oh, I love
like
that. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Where are you guys from?
Jersey.
Virginia.
Have you been to Wawa?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I just went yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Wawa is my favorite place on the planet. We don't have them in California, but I know. Trust me, it's miserable. We have no sandwich places like that. I would go to Wawa and I would get a roast beef sandwich on white bread with salt and pepper, provolone cheese, and mayo, and that's it. That's what I do.
All right. I had Wawa 2 days in a row, and now you're making me hungry. Like, do I go back for a day 3? Like, should I do it? Like, no, I shouldn't. But like, I'm thinking about it now. You're making me hungry.
Oh my God, man! When I was younger, or not even younger, I guess I was younger, but like probably 5 years ago, I was playing. I have another band that I work with a lot, and we'd always end up on the East Coast. Like I don't know how, but it was every show we ever did was like over there. And we all became obsessed with Wawa.
Good.
Fantastic.
Love to hear it. All right. So if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be?
A roast beef sandwich from Wawa.
I thought so.
All right.
That would be perfect.
Good question, though.
Thank you.
So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
It would definitely not be a fucking roast beef sandwich.
Okay, good. I was a little worried.
I'll tell you what it wouldn't be. A roast beef sandwich from Wawa. Okay. It would be... Well, the drink would be a Negroni. I love Negronis. The meal... Probably a sushi meal of sorts. Do you guys have Nobu in Jersey?
I am not sure. I'm not a big sushi guy, so
I might say Nobu.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a sushi place.
All right.
Let's say that, and a Negroni.
All right.
Perfect. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
God, one fictional world for a week. I have no idea. What about you? That's a really tough question. What's yours? Give me an example.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Peaky Blinders.
I love Peaky Blinders.
As you should, yeah.
That would be a really interesting time to be alive too.
Yeah.
I think I can go with Peaky Blinders. I would have loved to, like, it's weird because, like, how old are you guys?
19.
19?
17.
So everyone always talks about the early 2000s now as this like glowing time, and like, you know, or even like post Great Recession thing people talk about, like 2012, and it's like that, for whatever reason, these past, like the 2000s, they don't seem that cool to me. I would love to have experienced like, late 1800s, early 1900s. But I guess when you're in it, it just feels like anything else, right?
Yeah. So. All right.
But because you'd be gone for a week, it'd all be new to you.
Yeah, okay, that's true. It's just 1 week. I get to come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Damn,
exactly.
That is tough. I have no idea. I'm gonna say late 1800s, early 1900s. That sounds cool.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
So I've now asked the last question, and every single person we have spoken to have said that it is the most important question.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
I don't really have one. Maybe green. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, green. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a question. Are you sure it's green?
Not really. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like I never really, I don't wear a lot of colors. I just usually wear, like black, white, not much. But I do like the color green, so I'm gonna go green.
Okay.
All
green
right.
It is.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, man. Just I hope everyone goes and checks out new EP, and I hope they like it.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sitting out with us. It's been Ethan from Fake Stacys, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.